Welcome to the Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morse. Happy to be here with you on this Monday evening. Evening coming off the weekend, and you probably, like most of us here in Central Florida, hoping for some rain. It's been a while, and if you've been watching the news, been part of the news, you've been noticing throughout Florida, especially here in Central Florida, that we've been having fires all over the place, and it's just been really, really bad. So we're hoping for some rain. Coming up, Mother's Day is coming up, and we know how important that is. We have to recognize the mothers. And for those who are tuning in for the first time for the Journey 2020, we've been around since 2013. We originally used to do the show with Dr. Robinson, the psychologist here in the Orlando area, and he had been called to do some other things, but he keep promising me that he's going to come back. So we've been around since summer of 2013, and we've been doing a show live every Friday, but I moved it to Monday a few months ago. And so we're here on Monday evening, coming off the weekend, and getting ready for the summer as well. So I want to take this time to just want to say thank you for all the followers and people out there that's been following us for a very long time. I've been getting a lot of comments and people, always talking. And people also refer back to the old days, back when I was on Orange TV for 9 years. And I just went through a bunch of my archives. And so what I think I'm going to do, once a month, I'm going to air some of the shows as part of my Teen Summit that I used to do back in the day. And as I was watching them, they're still current. You'll see some old faces where we look much younger, like Monica May and some other people back then. You'll see her with a 102 Jam shirt on. That show you how long ago that was. She was with 102 Jam. So addition to the TAP program that we used to work with Karen Went, so on and so forth, and a lot of people. And you'll see people on the panel. And I'm going to show my very first one, I think, next week, my very first Teen Summit that goes back to 1997, 96, somewhere around up in there. See some friendly faces. But for those who been watching for some time, I've been, let me put this picture up, as a matter of fact. I've been putting this picture up for a very long time. And so it's almost like I was telling a tale. So I'm going to put this picture up. And this picture, which they can't see right now, but this picture, I've been talking about this, and I've been saying that she's going to come on my show. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months now, And so along with Lucille O'Neill and Ann, she got like 5 different first names. So it's like, I got to ask her, what is it that we should call her? Because, we call her Ann, we call her Tyson, we call her Williams. So anyway, I want to welcome the both of you to the show. How are mom and daughter doing?
We're fine, thank you very much.
All right. We go way back.
Yeah.
Back when I used to, take your 45s and put them on my cassette. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, you did.
Yeah. I used to take your 45s back when I was, hanging out with Ken.
Yeah.
And I used to record your 45s and put them on my cassette.
Because I had a serious collection, right?
Yeah. But what I want you to do, you got to give us a little history, because you kind of disappeared for a while. You were there, and then you just disappeared. I don't know what happened. I think the last time I saw you, I'm telling. I think it was the last time I saw her. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you how far we're going back. I was at Cheek to Cheek, the club in Winter Park, and looked up, and you came over and you said hi to me. And I think that's the last time I saw you was at Cheek to Cheek. The Cheek to Cheek is not there anymore. They tore it down. It's a CVS there now, and all this other stuff over there in Winter Park, right there on 1792,
yeah, I remember that.
and Lee Road used to be cheap,
Oh,
cheap,
I
cheap.
remember that.
Yeah. Oh, see.
Yeah, but I thought it was,
Huh?
I thought it was the other one in Winter Park.
No. I'm telling you, last time I saw you. No, that's the last time I saw you was at Cheek to Cheek that night, and you know when you came over, we talked for a minute, and then you just disappeared. So I don't know what happened, where you went, but I didn't know that you were in the service. I had no idea. I was too busy playing You're 45. But you know, hit us up. Tell me about where you from and how did you end up in Orlando, and were you born here in Orlando?
No.
You know, so go ahead.
I was born in Georgia, Edison, Georgia. It's a small town outside of Albany, and because of things that my mom went through, we moved here when I think I was 3 or 4 years old. So I was raised in Orlando, but I wasn't born here.
Okay.
And I graduated from Jones High School in 1978.
Okay.
Yeah. Right after high school, I went to college, FSU.
Oh, whoa! So you're a Seminole.
What? Yes.
You're a Seminole.
Yeah.
Seminole.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I am a Seminole. I'm a Seminole alumni. And then I started, when I met you, I had just came from school, and that was like the early 80s, early to mid 80s.
Okay.
And then 88, I decided I wanted to join the military, so I joined the reserves. So that's probably where I went.
Okay.
I went to basic training.
Okay.
And then, but I came back.
Okay.
And then when I came back out after about a year, I got called up to Desert Storm, so that was another year.
Okay.
And then I came back, and I probably lost contact with a lot of people after that year. And then I was a professional at the time.
Okay.
So then I started doing contracts. So then I went to Jacksonville for a couple of years, and I went to Tampa for a couple of years. So I kind of just...
Oh, so you was in my old town. I was born and raised in Jayville.
Really?
Yeah. I'm originally from Jacksonville.
That's where I just moved to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Until last year, I was there once a week.
Really?
Yeah. I would go see my father. So my sisters are there. And,
Yeah, I was. Richard Tyson.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you. No, just kidding.
He's a wonderful guy.
No.
Jacksonville guy.
Yo. I'm just messing. Really, from what? I mean, do you know what high school he went to? He was Raines, Rebold.
He went to Raines, and his brothers went to Rebold.
Okay, see, I
Where'd you go?
Well, I was supposed to go to Rebold in 11th and 12th grade. That's where I was supposed to go, 11th and 12th grade, because I grew up on two sides of Jacksonville my entire life. So I grew up over by Rebold. My grandmother moved over there at the age of 7. So at the age of 7, I was there every weekend, and all of the summers and all of the holidays. So that's where I was on that side, and I was begging and doing.
So where did you go?
No. And I was begging to live with my grandmother until I was old enough that my mother just couldn't say anything anymore. So in 11th grade, I was there permanently, and I transferred and did everything to go to Rebold. And as a matter of fact, I was just posted on about 3 or 4 weeks ago, a throwback Thursday, and I posted my 11th grade prom picture.
Really?
It was Raines prom because I dated a girl that went to Raines at the time. But anyway, I went to a school called Technical High School. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. It was. I was supposed to go to a school called Robert E. Lee on that side of town where I was with my mother, and somehow or another my sister tricked me, because when I came home that summer, and I told you I spent the entire summer with my grandmother,
Right.
and I would come home that Sunday, and school would start on Monday. So I came home like I normally do on that Sunday, getting ready to go to Robert E. Lee on Monday. As I walked out the door, my sister said, because she went there, it was a trade school.
Oh, okay.
Where you go and you take a trade, and Duval County would bus all the schools who you want to take a trade. You would come in the morning, you take your trade, and you go back to your regular school.
Okay.
And then the other schools would come in the evening because they would do their morning session. Then they would come in the evening, do your trade, then they would bus you back to your regular school. But going there, you were there regularly all day, going to school and taking your trade. Just to show you how jacked up it was, my sister signed me up for her tailoring class.
Tailoring?
Yes. So that's how, because she wanted me to play basketball for the school. See, you don't know me as a jock, but I was a jock that played basketball. So that's how I went to college. I went to college on a basketball scholarship.
What college?
I started out over in Daytona, then I ended up up at UMass in Boston. And I came,
Really?
See, you don't know me like that.
I guess not.
But I was a jock,
What?
a really good jock. For people that know me, know that I played ball. So my sister, why she did what she did, when I walked out the door, she went and told my mother all these things to make sure that I went to her school. So that's why. And when I was supposed to go to Ribault in 11th grade, because my coach was picking me up and taking me back to Tech, he came as I walked out the door, getting ready to go to Ribault. He knocked on the door, and he said, "Where you going?" And I said, I'm going to school. I transferred. He said, "No, McSwain denied your transfer," which I didn't know was a lie. I didn't figure that out till I was in my 40s. That he couldn't do that. He just lied to me because he wanted me to come over there and play ball. Yeah. So as I was getting ready to go to Ribault that morning, he normally picks me up and take me to school every morning, 10th and 11th grade. So again, I'm ready to go to school. As God is my witness, I opened the door to go to school. He was getting ready to knock on the door, like, normally he just pulls up and I just go outside and get in the car. Right. So I wasn't looking for him that morning because I'm ready to go to school. Right. He comes out and where you going? I'm going to Ribault. No, you can't go because McSwain denied your transfer. And so as a 16-year-old kid, I'm like, oh, okay. So I just got in the car with him and went on back to my normal, like I normally would. And I didn't figure out that he lied to me until I was.
Have you seen him?
Oh yeah.
Since then.
We laugh about it now. You say yeah. But I'm saying I couldn't, But so anyway, see, we've gotten off, But
okay, I know.
But anyway, that's technical high school. Yeah. So. Okay. But from Jacksonville, But he probably know a lot of people that I from Ribault as well because.
Because it was 7 of them.
Really?
So they ran first. The older ones went to Rains, and the younger ones went to Ribault.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because during my era,
the Tysons,
Because during my era, people don't know it, but people know about the Gaffneys.
Yeah, he's really there.
Right, but
really close.
But see, I was close to Wayne. Okay, but people don't know. I know Wayne from when the side of town where I told you about where my mother lived. That's where they used to live.
Oh, I don't know.
Right, so I'm saying I know Wayne.
Don is his best friend.
Right, Don is the one who as a matter of fact, I'm gonna do a show with him.
Really?
Yeah, and his brother Derek. Derek, we talked about.
Richard knows all of them.
Well, Derek played for the Jets.
Right, I remember.
But the history with Don is he was the first black starting quarterback in the 70s. So that was a big thing that this brother was starting at the University of Florida in the South. And anybody that knows anything about football and the Gators in Florida, that was a big deal. Big. This brother, because well, anyway, that's a whole.
Yeah, Richard told me about that. He said that there was like death threats.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. But Derek went on to play for the Jets but that whole crew, but I said Wayne. I went Warren. I said Wayne. I went Warren. Warren. I don't know. I'm sorry, Warren. I don't know why I said Wayne, but I meant Warren Gaffney. He was a year ahead of me.
Okay.
But we knew each other from the other side of town, from Mixon. That's where they were, and then they moved over to the Ribault area. They were over in the area where I was going to school at Tech and Robert E. Lee. But they eventually moved over there. But why I said Wayne? I don't know why. It didn't say that's crazy. But Warren and
call your name.
But anyway, Warren was a year ahead of me. But we played ball, and I played against him in Reigns and and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Gaffneys, and there was a guy by the name of Terry LeCount who was.
That's my husband's cousin, I think.
Right. They called him Black Jesus.
I think
he went
that's
to.
his
I mean,
cousin.
he played. He didn't play quarterback at University of Florida. He was a wide receiver, but he was a great quarterback at Reigns. Then he ended up going to the Vikings. He was there for a while, and then he got hurt. And but he was. They used to call him the boy. Ran the 100 in like a 9.5, 9.4.
Oh wow!
He ran the fastest.
So you probably know my husband's family.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
Because there was a big jock family too. His younger brother is Daryl Tyson. His nickname is DT.
Okay.
And he played for Fam.
Okay.
And it was all the LeCounts and the Gaffneys and the Greg Coleman is his best friend too.
Okay.
They're just close friends that played for the Vikings.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so.
We got a little off topic, but
It was interesting.
But it's good. It's good though.
Yeah.
But what I didn't tell you, that I was going to tell you that. Let me go here. That this book. That today is really not going to be a really good interview on this book, because I've only seen Roots one time. One time. That's it. Mm-hmm. I can't watch Roots. I got problems when I watch Roots. I have issues when I watch Roots. So this is going to be not a very good interview. And once we get into it, you're going to understand why. Because I'm one of these people that if it had been back in the day when they was like slavery, I wouldn't have lasted long. They would have killed me right away. I'm serious. My personality and my spirit, I wouldn't have lasted long. That whole thing with Kentakute and they cut off his foot, they probably would have just would have done me in. Because my spirit is not like that, and I'm just kind of like, when right is right, wrong is wrong, but that's not the reality of the world in the sense. But my thing is, the older I get in life, the more I understand about how the different spirits. People don't understand that we're fighting spirits, and the reason why a certain something got kicked out of heaven is because of their spirit and their dominance and their arrogance, and they wanting to be a ruler. Well, for some odd reason, there are so many of us who have that same spirit, and they do it in because this is a hard read for me. It's hard for me.
I don't.
Well, but that's the truth.
It was a hard write too.
Well, let's back up.
Okay.
Okay, let's back up.
Okay.
Let's talk about getting to the point where you say that you were distant and you were a little angry with your mom.
Okay.
Okay. So go back to your childhood and take us back, because I really don't want to give away the book in the sense of you need to read it. See, you probably can watch Roots 100 times. I just can't do it. And the other one, 12 years or so.
12 Years a Slave, yeah.
I have that on my computer. I've had it on my computer for well over a year. Since I know what it's about, I have to pray before I watch this movie. I'm serious. I just because when you understand why we so messed up, and that's a whole nother show in the dynamics of who we are as people of color and the things that we face and all the problems we have, because yeah. So kind of take us back, go back and kind of take us back to looking at yourself as a kid, and what was that like? So you know, as a child, and you started to like trying to understand some things that just didn't feel right.
When I was growing up, my grandmother raised me. My mom didn't raise me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two brothers, so I have a younger brother and an older brother. And when I was growing up, you know, it was my grandparents, my granddad, my grandma, it was like a two-parent home and stuff. But they were my grandparents. Well, to go even further back than that,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that my mom was my sister. And, well, we all thought that my mom and her two brothers was my brothers and sisters, as well as my natural brothers and sisters. And it was later when my grandmother said, well, no, Georgie, because I call her by her first name because I thought she was my sister. So she's like, oh, when we started elementary school, my grandmother said, well, George is your mom. And we was like, our mama. Remember? So, okay, we started getting little truths, you know, because there was a lot of secrets, you know, a little bit at a time. So both of my brothers are, they're mixed race. And we're always together, so it's the two of them and me. And so they're like extremely light skinned, and I'm dark. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wonder why they was dark and I was dark and they was light. And it wasn't until we got into junior high school, and that's when my grandmother and my mom sat us down and said, well, because my brothers had a lot of fights because people always called them white, mm-hmm. and they was fighting to the fact that they weren't. So by the time we got in junior high school, my grandmother told them, well, your dads are white. You have a white father. Mm-hmm. So that confused them, and it confused us. But we still didn't question it. Right. It was like no question. So then when, as you become a young teenager, like 14, 15 years old, and your friends are dressing up and stuff, my grandmother was so strict that I thought she was old-fashioned. I was like, my grandma's old-fashioned, and I'd rather live with my mom because, you know, my mom she was like still young. She looked really young and wear all the nice, you know, up-to-date clothes. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was gorgeous. And I was like, well, why she can't raise us? So I started getting mad as a daughter, thinking I didn't see nothing wrong with her. So then she went to Fort Lauderdale, so it was like totally, she only came to see us like once or twice a month. So I was getting upset to the fact that my grandmother was mean and my mom was nice, but she wouldn't raise us, and I couldn't see anything wrong with her. And to the point that I started getting an attitude. Mm-hmm. And my mom was very beautiful when she was, when we were in high school, when she used to come and get us, all the guys used to goo-goo eye at her, and I was like, you know what, she just really made me sick. So, mm-hmm. And then it was to the point that my dad was still in Georgia. He was in Albany, Georgia. Right. So I didn't see him from the second grade to my first year in college, and I decided to go see him, and because my mom always talked about how much she loved my dad, and I just never understood.
Right, and then I don't. But you acknowledged, because he acknowledged to you how much he loved her.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then it just didn't make sense to me. It really didn't. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense. I'm thinking, okay, she loved you, you love her. What's the deal? Mm-hmm. And then he finally said, well, your brother. And I was like, well, what happened? You know, what happened with my brother? And he said, you'll have to ask your mom. Mm-hmm. And so I still got a chip on my shoulder anyway, because mm-hmm. she didn't raise me. So I asked her about it, and she was trying to beat around the bush because that was that secret. You know how most black families got that secret.
Mm-hmm.
Was that secret that I kept knocking at the door, and to the point where I kind of said, she said I said it, but that's why I don't like you. And she was like,
She said it.
you don't like me? You don't like me? Okay, you want to eat? She basically said, you want to hear? Here you go. And she sat me down and she told me everything. And she didn't even leave out nothing.
Wow.
And from that point, it just like, I was numb. I couldn't imagine going through something like that. And do you want me to tell you what she went through? Oh.
Well,
Okay.
well, kind of yes and kind of no.
Okay.
I mean, when you say, are you talking about true physically or mentally? Or you both? Which one are you making reference to?
Well, more.
Well,
It was more mental.
Oh, okay. Okay.
At that point.
Okay.
I guess when she told us that my brother's fathers was white,
Mm-hmm.
we never thought about how it happened. So, but we know that we've never seen them. We've never seen these men before. Well, first of all, we thought it was just a one, and then we found out it was two different ones.
Mm-hmm.
And we never questioned we never questioned even how it happened. It was like, okay, well, they got white fathers, all right, so be it. But what got me is that she told me that they kept calling her a white man's woman, and she said that her friends turned her back on her, and all that kind of stuff. Remember?
Well. The thing is that.
Yeah. So.
What I'm saying is that for what we have gone through as people of color, and not just us, but in general, when there's just, I mean, you talk about the Jim Crow,
Mm-hmm.
You make reference to the Jim Crow. You go into the history, and
But in addition,
okay, go
In
because
addition-
see
addition-
that's why I say this
Yeah.
is not, this is going to be a hard interview for me.
yeah.
And because
In addition
it's
to
hard
Jim Crow,
because
there's unspoken rules.
right.
Yeah, and
Right.
those unspoken rules, without telling the book, is that a white man could rape a young black girl without any legal consequence.
But more than that though, it's more than the rape. It's the killing. It's the hanging. It's the lynching.
Yes,
That's true.
those are also unspoken rules.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that it's hard because we're now in a generation who have no clue
Exactly.
of the price that's been paid. And so when you don't understand the price, the cost, the people who came before you, that's why I have a hard time. When you read this book, and and I don't mean it the way that it sounds, but this is truly our history,
Right.
and that's been told
is.
1,000 times. It's been told 1,000 times. As you say, it's
been told over because most of the stories, you know what happened to young black girls.
right.
You know what happened, but they never went into detail. Of what happened. Even like, for instance, Roots. If you saw Roots and not Roots, but Rosewood.
Okay, right.
When the store owner kept taking the little girl in the back, and then they come back. You know what happened.
But see, when let me tell you where, in addition to what we're talking about, but as a man, okay, just as a man, no,
Yeah.
listen, as a man and who I am and what I represent through all of my pride and everything that I am, the idea that you are who you are to me, and this white man walks in the door, now I got to go outside while he doing his business, and I got to sit there like this right here.
That's true.
Okay?
That is true.
Just the idea of what that would do to me inside as it carries on to a generation, let alone the fact that they would make another black man come in and do the same thing, and you had to sit there and watch. Now,
Yes, because that was slave breeding.
right.
Yes.
Right. So as we talk about this, now this is Dr. Robinson need to be here because the whole psychological effect of that mentally, emotionally, and how it is carried on in the many issues and problems that we have among ourselves. I mean, the fact that, because you make reference to a Spike Lee movie,
I did.
School Days. And as you know, as we have the problems of the color of the skin, the light skin, not
Right.
so like the dark skin, and so on and so forth, and just
But
those.
not knowing what the ancestors went through and the sacrifice that went into having a light-skinned Negro, and then knowing that, you know, my complexion had to nurture them because and make them feel like they belong, you know, to us on both sides.
Well, like I
So
said,
that's
see,
why
but see, I'm more of a, which is true, but I'm saying we're so dysfunctional because we don't see out of the eyes and what God intended us to see, because we're focusing on something that means absolutely nothing but to our dysfunction and our inability to understand, to love, and to accept, and to see God's people. We have issues of things that just says how shallow we are as people, and how we migrate to things that has nothing to do with our purpose and for us to be happy.
Right.
You know, and you know, I want to get to your mom.
Yeah, she's gonna she's gonna get to because
No.
because
You
you gotta hear how they had to be reserved all the time, just be in reserve mode all the time. You have to reserve your anger. You got to reserve how you feel in front of these white people, and yeah, you got to hear.
No, I mean, but I understand that. I mean, the whole thing that you couldn't look them in the eye and and all this crazy madness. But what happens? The problem in this country, something as simple as they will talk about that flag, and that flag represents everything
All
in
of
this book.
That's right.
It represents all the lynching and the hanging and the
Yes.
It represents
does.
all of that. But the minute you start acting like this country is something like, oh my God, we've been just so great and so wonderful since its existence, there's something wrong with us.
Yeah, like was Ben Carson said that we come on a boat on what did he say? We were we got on the slave ships have a better life.
That's what I'm that's
See,
why
I was like, okay.
like for example, I couldn't be a politician because I can't play the games. All right, like for an example, on CNN all day, they've been showing an interview with Donald Trump. They showed where a guy was asking him some questions. Okay, they're sitting up there trying to justify his answer.
Yeah, I know.
Versus saying exactly what
Calling
it
a
is.
spade a
He's
spade.
an idiot. He's trying to deflect. He really don't know what he's doing.
No.
Right.
All of his answers are stupid.
And and he have a limited vocabulary.
Versus trying to just, well, you know, and da-da-da. And in actuality, he makes them look stupid. Because he's doing, he's doing a good job because they sit around and they trying to talk this way and, well, you know, and you sitting up there like, you don't, that's your answer, that's your answer to his answer?
That don't make sense.
Just like, you're more of an idiot than him. So he understands that he's playing them like a little, you know, and he knows it. Versus, and it's so frustrating that to be politically correct. No, you politically stupid.
No, he's not politically correct at all. There's no way.
Well, I'm saying they're trying to be politically correct. They're being politically stupid because he's playing them. And, you know, like I said, they just came out a few days ago. Well, they said that he's mentally just, like, who didn't know that? Who didn't know the man was mentally whatever? You know, it's just like all you have to do is just sit there. And I'll say this to the day that I die. If Donald Trump did not have money, if he had no money, if he was just Joe Blow on the streets, if he walked in acting like that, they would consider him trailer trash. They would kick him out the room.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
They would just kick him, man, you trailer trash.
And he just proved the point that you can be president if you got money.
Well,
and that he just wanted to
you can
check
be a lot
that
of things.
box.
You can be a lot of things in this country if you got money. A lot of things. But anyway, that's my soapbox. I'm getting off of it right now. Okay. Mom, it's like, oh my goodness. It's just like this is hard. I mean, this is hard for me.
You gotta hear her tell the story about the cook, little Charles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
I was working for his mom. And she told me that I can have a Coke, you know, if I wanted Coke, because that all they had was Coke. So he come from school. He come in the house, and I had to start wrecking the yards. Then I said I'd go back in because I had washed clothes and I was ironing clothes.
Tell him how much you made.
$3 all day long. I get that before 7 o'clock in the morning, and don't leave until 7, so I can wash, clean the dishes up and mop the kitchen. So Charles asked me, he said, Georgie, who Coke is that on the ironing board? I said, mine. Your mom said I can have one. He said, no, you can't have no Coke. Cause, you know, the N-word, niggas don't drink Coke. He snatched it off and took it and went and poured it down the sink.
Okay.
So I said, okay, all right, no problem. So I went home, ironed my little clothes, had 1%, and I said, let me go finish washing the grass and finish take up the leaves and stuff. So I did that. When I was coming back out, he come up there messing with me. And he kept saying the N-word, saying all kind of things. I'm going to tell my mom. So I took the water hose and I took the had the water watering flowers, and I took it out, opened the water, and I put my finger and I skin it all every time I hit it so hard and knock him down. He get me, started screaming, look what you're doing to me, Georgie. I'm going to tell my mom. You're trying to kill me. I said, no. You. I said, you. That's what you are. You what you call me? That's what you are. So then, I saw his mama coming, and I just spun out and went, took the water off, let him alone, and went in the house, wiped her feet, went back and ironed her last piece. And he went running to Mommy, look what Georgia done to me. She said, Georgia did it to you? Yes, Mommy. She called me the N-word. She called me a nigga. I said, she said, she what? She can't do that. But I'm just going to have to whip her, you know. She come running and busting out, Georgie, why you do to Charles? Why you wearing him up like this? Georgie, I'm just going to have to whip Joe. And she'll wink at me. You can't tell him that way. He's a little white boy. I said, you going with me? I don't think you will. It'll be a cold day in here. You put your hand on me. I said, pay me my money and let me go home. She went and she didn't have no change. She gave me $6. It supposed to be $3, $5, $1. So she said, well, I take you home. I said, no, I can walk. So I walked her home. She got in her car on her son, went to her husband's job where the rest of the guys was. And when she got there, she was crying. She was so nervous she couldn't drive the car back home. So she got my oldest son, Dad, to drive her car back to the yard. He come in that big old four-wheel drive truck, 7 high, with that long antenna is swinging like this back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
He come across the Cali Gap, and they keep a big gun in his truck. Because we had a Cali Gap across, to keep the cows from going across there to get out. He come across, he was spin wheel. Why he come there? He whooped up and jumped out the car, did not even cut up the engine. He didn't close the door. He come in, Georgie.
With the bull whip.
He had a bull whip. The long one, he could stand from the wall here and do it, and he snap me from up top of your lamp up there.
Okay.
So he said, wait a minute, where's Georgie? Mom said, she's inside. Tell her to get out here to me right now. Right now. Mom said, Georgie, Miss Charlie wants you. I said, Georgie. I said, if she don't come out, I'm coming in. Mom said, she's coming. Come on now. He coming up on the porch. And I peeped out the door on the screen. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Charlie. He said, bring your butt out here to me right now. I'm going to whoop you on the line because I'm going to teach you. You don't talk to Miss Peggy that way, and you don't talk to Charlie. He's a little white boy, she's a white lady. And you do not talk. You're a little colored girl. You got me? I said, you ain't been with me. He said, oh no, if you don't come in. He just put what. He said, I said, come right now. I will come on the porch. So he going to come meet me on the porch to snatch me at the door. My dad, 22 rifle. I had to send him out the door. And when he went coming in, I said, no, you won't. I can kill you if you come. He's spinning around, went down the steps. He did a whirl. He ran, he jumped in the car. He didn't even close the door. He just took off in the truck. Going down the road, spinning tires. When he left, he was crying. He crying, wife crying, baby crying. So then, my other son, Dad, told I'm telling my dad the next morning, saying, I don't know what happened up there, but Charlie was all upset. He was crying, saying, that girl we got to do something about that girl. Say, I'm going to go talk to Alvin Willie Mae. We're going to put her in Chattahoochee. So she's off for rockers. So he came, my mom, my dad, he talked with them, and he tried to get them to send me to Chattahoochee. And my mom said, no, we don't do it. He said, you can get $50. I can get you $100 for her. Even maybe $150 because she is really Looney Tunes.
Because you fight back.
Well.
So they want to put me away.
Right. But I'm going to let you finish. But that right there kind of tells you the mentality. I always say a lot of the issues that we have is because of how they see you or see us, how they see themselves. And whatever that is, that when they see themselves here, and you are lower than dirt, and his thing, that mentality is there's no way. I mean, that's just like that whole saying, just like when Don Gaffney played quarterback for the University of Florida.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's no way because he doesn't. His brain is not developed enough. He can't be smart enough. All these things that we are, that's inside their minds, that they're so superior that they're stupid. They're ignorant. You know, and so the idea that you would have the audacity to stand up to him, there's something wrong with you.
I know, right?
There's something mentally wrong with you. You cannot be right.
Right.
You know, there's something in your mind is not working right. You know, so that whole mentality, they pass it down. So, you know, so he wanted to send you away.
Yeah.
Because he was stupid.
Yeah. He wanted to put me in you're Milledgeville and Chattahoochee.
Yeah, actually it was Milledgeville in Georgia.
He wanted to put me away. And you know, he probably wouldn't have. He probably would tell people, but give me some medicine so I'll never be able to come out. You know?
But see, I mean, when I was really heartbroken of the little girl who and I guess she was just a pretty little girl, and that I guess they always forced themselves on her.
Margie Fry.
Yeah, Margie Fry, they killed her.
Right. And
The police and all of them, they messed with her. She outschooled her. And then what happened is they took the little girl. She was got grown in. Took the little girl, carried her nose, and they whipped her and everything. And they say she was shot. And then they hung her. And they claimed that they went and found her out their house. And they want to know who did it. They ain't like they was trying to blame on some maybe black guys. Man did it. Black guy wouldn't have did nothing like that to that girl.
Yeah. It's just those type of stories that's in the book. That
Remember you say that she was tired. She was tired of the mess mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's those little things like that. That's just again. It's nothing. Those stories been going on since we came over.
That's true.
Time and time again. It's just now for you and the things that you saw. I ask you this later, but you was angry at your mother.
I was.
Right.
I was,
because there was just things that you didn't understand, things that you didn't know. This is something that I always say. Like, I just told this story to somebody last week, because I put a Throwback Thursday on.
Oh, okay.
And I said something in reference to my Facebook. If you did this, and I was talking about back in the day. But I said that if you got like 2 spankings a day, if you ate peanut butter and jelly, if you ate a mayonnaise sandwich, a mustard sandwich, you know, if you drank from the neighbor's water hose, and nobody cared if you left your back door open, and the list goes on and on. And somebody said, "Well, I agree with everything what you say. I don't know about the 2 spankings." I said, "Well, I really got about 3 or 4 because because I had this southern aunt, and you can tell that she was from a little small town called Perry, Florida, up by.
I know what Perry's at.
Up by
Tallahassee.
Yeah. So that's where my mother and all of them were from before they came to Jacksonville. And she was a yes ma'am, yes sir. And she worked for, there's a funeral home. There used to be a funeral, Hodges Funeral Home. She used to work for them. She was the one who raised their children, and she was their maid, and she had that mentality. She was about 4'11", but she stood about 7'2", because she was just that. She carried a gun and right, and she slept with a gun underneath her pillow. But my aunt didn't play. She just didn't play, but she was this strong Southern woman. But she had these Southern
values.
Right. She had these, and the stuff that she would spank us for, I would laugh at. But she was just serious. But all of that came from just making sure that you were correct, and that's what I say. A lot of the spankings and that sternness came from because they didn't want you to die.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And you had to say.
And so they were stern about it because I beat your butt because they didn't want you to die. They want you to stay in order. They want you to stay in that line and be like this, because they knew if you just did that, they would come and hang you, shoot you.
Yes, exactly.
And I tell this story because when you get older, just like I was telling the story about when I was in 11th grade and I went to go to Reebok.
Yeah.
Coach came, I had no idea. But I was 5 years old, and my aunt took us, because sometimes she would take us and my sister would help her clean it up. This particular day, they had a pool. I fell in the pool.
Oh, no.
I couldn't swim.
Oh, no.
Right. And to this day, I can't tell you how and why. But my sister put a water hose down there. I didn't see it. I don't know anything about it. All I know was somehow or another I grabbed a hold of it. She pulled me up. By that time, one of my other sisters went and ran and told my aunt. By that time, I'm coming up. I'm coughing up hot dogs, water. Because I was in that pool for a long time.
Really?
And yeah, I almost drowned. So I come out of that coughing, throwing up water and everything, and my aunt comes out and she sees me. She take this remember the color, a gray plastic sword, and she beats my butt as I'm standing there throwing up everything and water, and
surviving.
Right. Nobody knew I was sick for the rest of the day. But I know my aunt's mentality was, boy, these white people gonna come home and find you dead in the bottom of that pool. I'm gonna lose my job. She got that mentality that these white people gonna be upset with me about you drowning in this pool. Mm-hmm. I mean, now that I'm older, I know that that type of whatever it was, because she was looking confused. She didn't know whether or not to take me, and she was looking at me kind of funny.
Hold you or beat you.
Right, but she said, I need to make sure that I don't upset these white people, and I see you breathing, so you must be okay. She had no idea how long I was in that pool. All she knows, she came out, she saw me standing there, But I know the mentality was, you gonna upset these white people.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a time that when the little boy she was talking about, I think she was like 14. I guess he was like 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And they wanted her to call him Mr. Charles. Remember?
If you get a chance, I don't know if I have it around here. I don't know if I have it. Oh, yes I do. Oh, this book right here. I interviewed this gentleman to take a righteous stand. Mm-hmm. Very similar in a sense, because they were in Alabama. And when you hear his story, because the same thing was going on, the lynching, and he stood up to some white people. And the things that was going on at the time with the KKK,
right?
What they call the Night Riders.
Mm-hmm.
The person that his granddad was living, his mother was taking care of the children just like my aunt. Mm-hmm. So the child that she was taking care of, the white child, was like maybe a year older than him.
Uh-huh.
So when they got up to about the age like 9 or 10, just from out of nowhere, mm-hmm. the little white kid came up to him and said, "You need to bow down to me."
Yeah.
And he said to him, like, "Why?" And he said, "'Cause I'm white and you black." So, mind you, now they had been growing up together. As they tell the story is about his grandfather. The grandson is who wrote the book, who's telling the story.
Oh, okay.
But it's that type of mentality. Mm-hmm. And what I was saying before is how they see us, and people don't get that. They try to that's just like trying to sit here and trying to rationalize Trump.
Yeah.
They sit there and they trying to rationalize him. Every time he opens his mouth, he says who he is.
Exactly.
Sitting there trying
yeah. And like Hillary said, what you see is what you get.
Amen.
He ain't he's not hard to understand. He's easy to understand. And they sit there, but anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like it.
I'm sorry. And what I say, see, this is hard for me. When I read this book, as you sit here before me, mm-hmm. understanding what you saw, understanding what you went through, mm-hmm. understanding who you are, mm-hmm. and why you're here, and why God put you here, and the fact that they can't even, if you're not a person who believes and who doesn't have a faith, then of course then you can do your thing. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to ask you, did you ever think that you would see a black president in the United States of America?
I had it in my mind.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Because I always believe in Christ, and I figured anything be possible, that God wasn't going to let just be white president forever, that our Negro should be a president one day.
Okay.
And speak the truth, because he'll be more truthful and more faithful than the white one would.
Okay, now, for yourself and what you came up out of and what you saw as a child as you grew into being an adult and having children, when did you notice a change in America? When the change started to take place as we started to come up a little bit? When did you started to notice that for yourself?
When President Kennedy got in the chair,
Okay,
he started making the changes.
okay.
But it was through Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And I think unless he had a lot of faith and trust, believe in him, in God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when things start turning around. And that's why he was assassinated.
All right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the day when they assassinated him, I was downtown working in Orlando off Orange Avenue. It was a store called Cress's. I had got my job. I was working in a store by McCory.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come from work, stopped by Cress,
Mm-hmm.
I heard the news. They said a special bulletin just come over the news inside the store. And they said the president that had just been shot.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just froze, people stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And looking and jump, and they showed it on their little TV, little black and white TV.
Mm-hmm.
So people we all just froze. And then it was sunshine so bright, so pretty. It was late in the afternoon. But you know what? It was like between 3 something or 4. Would you believe that everything just turned dark, like night had come down, just changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it was nighttime, it's dark. Everything just like a change, and I know God was in it. And people just standing there, everybody was crying while I was crying. Paper, and it was so dark, and it's like, then it started raining, like hell was coming.
Mm-hmm.
The ice was dropping. I never seen it like that before in my life.
Mm.
But it was a reason why God did it.
Mm.
Because they had took away a man that was trying to put things in perspective for what was right. And they didn't like, because they thought that he was doing wrong by trying to, I guess, make a change for us. For we didn't have rights too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe because.
No, I was going to ask. No, I'll finish. No.
I believe because so much wrong thing was going on. He was saying that because when they sent, then later on they sent a man, as he was assassinated, they sent a man to the moon. First they sent the monkeys up there.
Mm-hmm.
But God let the monkeys come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I never believe nobody go to the moon. So,
you sound like my aunt.
right, it's true.
My aunt that I was talking about, she said, no, they right around the corner.
And that's the truth. Just get out of sight, somebody can't see where they at. And
No,
they up in the
they
plane.
sent 'em.
In the
Oh, they went.
It'd be up in a float, just floating
No,
around.
they ain't
But they I might go no moon.
Yes, they did. Okay, we on TV. Yes, they did.
Child, if I see somebody go to the moon, this world gonna burn up.
Oh, boy, that's funny.
You catch on fire.
I want to ask you, when she told you what she told you and it started to sink in, talk about how you processed that and how you started to look at your mother differently.
When she told me, when she sat me down, she said, listen, she said, I didn't have a good life. She said that it was really hard, and I went through a lot in Georgia, and I was like what? And she said, white men be messing with young black girls. And I was like, really? She said, yeah. And she said that's what happened to me. And she said, and no matter how hard I tried to fight, it was nothing I could do. And I had nowhere to turn. I felt alienated. And she said that I couldn't talk to anybody, and people, turned their back on me. And after Mr. Tommy Thompson did what he did to me, and I got pregnant and had the baby, she said no one would talk to me anymore. She said it was to the point that when I go to church and I have my baby in my arms, I sat down, they would get up and walk away. And she said, and then, and I saw the tears in her eyes, and I knew how sincere she was. And she would hold her head down and said, and they would whisper at me and call me a white man's woman. That's why I named the book that, named it that, because that's what they called her, and that's what she fought so hard not to be, because I found out later that being a white man's woman that some black girls just didn't have the fight. They just went, because they didn't have the intestinal fortitude to fight back. It was easier to just go. But she fought it the whole time, and she vowed that that's not what she was. And I told her that that you know what, you are, you were, that's not what you were. And I'm trying to make, you was not that. And you're absolutely right, you're not that. And it just tugged at my heart that somebody could go through something like that. And especially a second time, you have no voice then. I can see you have no voice. You don't have the strength to say, like, this happened again, especially when they calling you a white man's woman. And they're saying that, behind your back, that all you do is run around with white men and all that stuff. So I thought about it, and that day, I thought about the pain and the hurt that she went through, and I saw it. And at that moment, everything changed for me. That moment, my mom became a hero. So it was like all the hate that I had before, it just left. It just left, because it's like, okay, she had the strength to tell me this. And now it's like she's the strongest person that I know, that I can even fathom, because I couldn't. Like you, I saw Roots one time too. And I didn't know that I had somebody this close to me that actually went through
Right.
part of that.
Right.
And I'm thinking, this is the 60s, 70s, now that was over with. But it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't.
Right. And to know that there are other women, and it happened so often, it was so common,
Right.
that the blessing that she actually survived, because
Right.
there's some people in here that didn't survive.
Right.
As you tell the story, there's some people in here that
Yeah.
did not survive.
Like Margie didn't know.
you know.
And the thing is that they, and that's why the school days just got to me so much, because I know, he didn't take into consideration what, our parents. It's not even ancestors.
Well, but see, you have to understand something, and we're messed up as people.
Yeah.
Okay, we're messed up. We have so much. It's like you open the trunk, and there's just so much stuff in the trunk that you can't even get to what you're trying to get to. There's so much stuff in there, and there's envy, jealousy, insecurity, not having a foundation, not even knowing your history, not knowing who you are. You have listened to the lies. As a matter of fact, one of our biggest problems is we believe what they believe. That's one of our biggest problems.
You're absolutely right.
They see us that way, and we see
ourselves that way. Yeah.
And so, to the point that we so much try to be like them.
Exactly, I agree.
And so we're so messed up, and they, you talk about the Jim Crow, and so on and so forth, that the whole psychological part of it worked.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this for years. White people can leave this country and don't come back for another 200 years, and we
still be messed up.
They don't have to do none of that to us. We're going to continue to do what we do to ourselves.
I agree.
And we are so messed up, and we're so caught up into something that has no meaning, that our value system is just nothing. You know, the stuff that we value. You know, that's why we spend all our money. It was funny too because they did, and I don't forgot the actual statistic, but my pastor gave some statistics on how long money stays, like how long the money stays in the Asian community.
Oh yeah.
How long it stays in the Spanish community, how long it stays in the Jewish community. So the statistic shows that our money stays in us like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
It does. You're absolutely right.
It's that kind of statistic, and just to show you, and I'm not going to call out their name, but there's a place where you can go get some wings from. Okay, and they advertise all the time. You see them on the billboards. You see them. I even wrote them, but they didn't respond back to me. This was about 8-9 years ago that I stopped eating there, because every commercial that they play, and you see them all the time, you see them on the billboards, and you have to go about 5 pages deep on their page before you see a person. Right? They got the blondes, it's the wing place, and
I know you're talking about.
And they got the little cuties, but they will not use a person of color. And I would not, and they have good wings too, but I would not go there. I stopped going there 8 years ago, and I put something on my Facebook page. I said something. I had one person respond to me. Well, and the person who responded to me was Hispanic, and was trying to make up an excuse for it. But my whole point of it is that if we understood our values, we would not understand it, because what he's saying to you is, I don't value you because I know you're gonna come spend. I know you're gonna come spend your money here and eat this chicken anyway.
Yep.
So I don't even have to worry about you.
Yeah.
And it's just something.
Oh.
You know what they did to us. And it's just a continuous thing when we don't understand our values, and when we see ourselves the way they see us, and our value system is all these material things which has no value, which we try to make ourselves be something that we're not. But
and I feel you, because there's this lady, Miss Jones. She was a lot older. She died in 99. She was born in 1899, and she was a business lady. She was a teacher, and her thing was, and she was trying to teach us and her kids, you get something out of life. So she bought all these properties and stuff. So by the time she was 99 years old, she had probably about 8 properties and stuff, but she didn't have any kids. And she
36.
Really?
I'm a 37 property, yes.
Yeah, but anyway, she left them to her nieces, and her sister took some of them. And after she died, how about none of the properties are in the family anymore?
Well, it's funny because I was just thinking about that the other day, about how that happens all the time.
Yeah.
How they sweat.
How hard.
How they make all these sacrifices. And then they go to the children, the grandchildren,
and the black families, and then next thing you know, they don't own these properties anymore.
I was just talking about that the other day, because over in Washington Shores, the fish place, where you sit down there.
Yeah.
They're owned by whom?
No, not anymore. It's some they're like Chinese people there.
Some Asian people.
I heard that they leasing it from them.
But my point of it is, they're right in the hood. The line is around the corner on a Friday or Saturday night.
Still.
True. A guy told me, said that they still they lease it to those people, because they said we won't patronize them like we do.
But we were patronizing them. We were buying.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Long as you got hot fish, we coming.
And they had
if you got hot fish and some hot sauce.
Right, and you remember they had ice cream place? It was
and the convenience stores. I go in some of the convenience stores I don't go in, because the owners just totally disrespect these. Well,
right down the street, that same place,
Customers. Mm-hmm.
there's a Popeyes. This was a while back, and somebody told me about it. And I went in that Popeyes, and I had never experienced anything like that ever in my life.
What?
What was
That
that?
sister act like
She on.
act like she doing me a favor.
Yeah. I don't go to that Popeyes either.
No, not only that, they couldn't even accept a credit. Wait a minute, how you a Popeyes and you don't accept a debit card?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's real crazy.
Nah, I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, I'm serious. At that time, I'm at cause you know we're in the hood. We're the Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
She got attitude, and I didn't even do anything. And somebody told me about that whole experience going in there, you know. But it actually turned out to be true. But they didn't even accept credit cards.
And they supposed to.
Well, exactly. That's just like the post office in Eatonville. They don't accept credit cards either.
Stop.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, we have a post office in Eatonville, which is a black town, and they don't accept credit cards. What is?
They need to get real.
I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
The last time I went there, I mean, I don't, you know, us.
Wow. I know.
Anyway, where can we find your book?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, and you
You
can.
know what? I got the picture. So I'm gonna put the picture up. Okay, there you go. Okay, there's the picture. And you know, I know that you can't see it, but there it is. It's up.
Okay, and also I have some, and you could call me, and my number is 407-694-3367. And I will gladly have a copy. And I have another version of it coming out in about a week and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Second Edition.
Really?
Yes, and it's I learned a lot, as well as people learned from my book. I also learned a lot because. Uh-oh.
Then you get help.
So, excuse me.
So they can't see you.
Oh, okay.
They have no idea what's going on.
Okay, so I learned a lot because what was happening was there was this one guy that was like a black historian.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think I was at the Zora, and I was telling this guy, I was like, you know, my book is about during Jim Crow. In addition to Jim Crow laws, there was unspoken rules, and you know, and I said a white man could rape a young black girl without any legal consequence. So he got like totally. I don't know if he was getting pissed after I said it. He just went into space and he just started staring into space, and I don't know if he was kind of fighting back tears or whatever. And he was like, "Well, you know, this happened way before then." I was like, "Yes, sir. I'm sure it did, but you know, I was like that. This is like the timeline from my mom." And then he was like went into historical mode. He was like, "Do you know that it took slave ships 7 to 9 months to go from the south or west end of Africa to the east coast of the United States?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can see that." He said, "Do you know that crew members raped the women on the ship? And when they docked on the east coast of the United States, half of the women walked off of the ship 7 to 9 months pregnant." Mm-hmm. I was like, I guess I never thought about it that deep. So he was like, it started when they started coming get. And he said another thing, that one of the selling points of getting crew members was that on the way back, you can have your way with all of the women. And that was like a selling point for the crew members. So I started doing a whole bunch of research and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I actually need to start this book totally different. Not totally different, but the way I started it at the beginning, I started with the Declaration of Independence. I was trying to say, look, we're supposed to be free. Then Emancipation Proclamation came, And, you know, so from there, then Jim Crow. So I was trying to make a point that from the beginning, when we're supposed to be free, we're not free. But now, with this research I've done, I found out that I start off in Africa, and I start off with all the research I've done. I start out with how all of that started. Then I started with then I went into stuff that was happening on the cruise ships, which, you know, you're probably not gonna like. But then and then and then I go into the emancipation, and I go into the story. So I started off a little different, and then at the end of it, people shared their stories with me, their personal stories with me. So I actually got some personal stories from other people.
From some
testimonies,
right.
from other people that similar stuff happened within their families.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the second edition is going to be. So the second edition will be out.
See, actually,
soon.
the book should be called "How They See Us."
That sounds good.
How they see us. No, but I'm saying, I've gotten to this. I mean, because a lot of times, you know, and I've sat here and had discussions, and the conversation would be repeated, and they talking and they're trying to justify or trying to rationalize. And I'm going, what is it that you don't understand? You are beneath them. They see themselves this way, and they don't understand why you got attitude. You supposed to be poor. You supposed to be hungry. You supposed to serve them. You supposed to. What is it that you don't understand?
Yeah,
you know, and you trying to rationalize. No. You are beneath them. What is it that you and when I say them, I don't mean everybody.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about that spirit. Right. Spirit.
Right, but did you have these white people that's low income with food stamps, living in a trailer with no teeth. They still think they're better than you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That spirit, whatever that is, how they see us. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter. They can be making 2 cents every 5 hours. They still gonna look at you. They're gonna look at you and be. How many times have you heard the story? A white person walk around and they see a black person with something. They look around and they trying to figure out like
how they got it.
How you? Because they can't comprehend. No, you supposed to be on a 10-speed bike.
I know.
You know, you supposed to be serving me. This ain't right.
Oh, I know.
You know, so and people be sitting there. That's just like you trying to sit there and you trying to rationalize Trump. Trump easy. You know, there's nothing complicated about Trump. You know, it's just like wow. It's just like unbelievable. You know, it's just like he is who he is. Yeah. But it says about who we are because we put him there.
That's
and
true.
I always say Trump.
I ain't put him in.
Trump has the right to be Trump. He has the right to be who he is. The way he is. There's nothing wrong with him being who he is.
No, it's not.
Who he is, that's
right. There's nothing wrong with him being Trump. There's nothing wrong with him being who he is.
Do it right.
But when you look at him and you think that, what's funny is when you see like the rallies and stuff like that, and then you see the sign, the blacks for Trump. You be like, really?
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 I know.
Really? Really? And I don't know who that brother is that's on CNN, I can't think of his name, but that is the kitchen Negro. Oh my God, he is the kitchen Negro. I cannot think of his name, but he is the kitchen Negro. Oh, he worked. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, the guy had to cut him off because he kept talking about media news, whatever it is, but that whole media news. So Don cut him off and
Don Lemon.
You know, but
oh, I know who you're talking about. Paris.
Yeah.
Paris. Oh my God.
Yeah, he is yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, just shoot him. That's how I feel about him.
But then, anyway, you know we over, but that's okay. You know, because you know, long as
That's
I have
okay.
no. I'm just saying because see, it's my show, so I can talk for the rest of the
Yeah.
But I'm saying.
But I want to tell you this one story
Okay.
when you was telling me about when you mentioned how you felt as a black man and this stuff happening. There's this one guy from Alabama. I put this story in the book in the second edition of it. He said that when he was a young man, and I think he was around my mom's age too, he said that in a certain city in Alabama, they had the colored theater and they had a separate white theater. Like when my mom was growing up, they had the same one, but you know the blacks was up top and the white was on the bottom. But these was like separate buildings. And he said that they would get all dressed and all of them would just go to the black movie theater. Most of them would be walking. And he said they would go in and they would watch the movie, but when they came out, there was like 5 or 6 cars parked on the side of the street with white men standing up, leaning on the car. He said they would lean on the car, and when the girls would come out, he said that they would pick them out and make them get in the car. And he said that he remembers watching and he remembered vividly watching this one girl looking at him like, help me. And he said that him as a man, as a black man, he said to this day, it still tears in his soul that he couldn't do anything to help them.
Right. Yeah. And I
was like,
I can only imagine, because that's a whole nother story. But you know, I will get in trouble by saying this. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, you probably have something.
No. But I meant among our sisters.
Oh yeah.
What a lot of women don't understand, the brokenness.
Yeah.
Sometimes the anger supersedes everything else because I want to be a man.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't know how to fix what I'm not.
Right.
And I'm so angry that I take it out the way I shouldn't. A lot of times the women don't know how to plug into my brokenness. You still breaking stuff inside of me.
All right.
When God gave you the ability to mend it.
That's true.
Because I see myself through your eyes.
Right.
And because you don't understand my brokenness that's been handed down.
Right.
Also, I haven't been taught.
Right.
But what God gave me naturally, I'm not able to be.
That's true.
So I have no idea what to do with that. So it runs deeper than what you think. But when you focus on the world, my Lexus, title before my name, the house I live in, shoes I wear,
Right.
the name brand, and all those things become so important. And they truly have no meaning. All they doing is bringing more chaos and madness into your world.
There you go.
It's a priority. And you can't understand what we're saying right now, and to see your past and how it came to be and why it's still that way. Life is not that complicated. Whenever I got friends that I talked to over the years, and I say, if you ever want to understand, go back to Adam and Eve in the garden. And if you look at who they are and what they had in the garden, you start from there and who they are to each other.
That's true.
They didn't have all this other stuff. Okay? And it's funny too, because my pastor, I have a great pastor. He even said it, what God put in a man.
That's right.
As Eve ate the apple,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And then when God looked at Adam, and then he said in reference to her eating the apple, and he ate it too, because he put in me that even when he was facing God, he still looked to her. He came because she came, even because to me you think he would go like, no, God, no, that's on her.
Yeah, I know, right?
He still was with like, I gotta stick with this woman.
Yeah.
Even in front of God. But when you don't understand that, how God made us, when it's about all this other stuff,
Right, right.
because we're not here that long.
That's right.
We're not here that long.
That's right.
And we focus on here
That's right.
in this stuff. And there's a saying that I always say, and that is this right here. I'm going to ask for a collection plate when I finish it. But there's a saying, what happens, you have a nice house, have all this nice stuff in it. It's beautiful. The car outside. But when the storm comes, because your house have no foundation, the storm comes and wash everything away because it has no foundation.
Right.
Now you truly in the wilderness because you have no foundation. And if you and I have lived long enough, and you can ask your mom because she can tell you, the storm gonna always come.
Oh,
The
yeah.
storm is gonna always come.
true.
It's gonna always come. I don't care what you do, there's a storm
Right.
coming.
That's right.
There's a song I wrote, there's a storm coming even though the sun is shining.
That's right.
The storm is gonna come. And that test, you be like, God, didn't you test me yesterday?
I know.
Didn't you test me yesterday? The test. But I'm saying, when the storm comes, he's saying, you got to have some foundation.
Right, right.
But we don't.
You sure do. That's right.
And as soon as the storm comes, you gone.
That's true.
You gone because you don't have nothing.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I got a Gucci.
Yeah, but what they gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
You, what you gonna?
Exactly. You know, I got a nice
Gucci.
Lexus though. Oh, but,
Yeah, what they gonna do?
But the
It
water
broke.
pump broke.
But the car
Somebody hit it. Somebody wrecked it.
It just
But I have a
follows
Lexus.
up.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you close out with that, and I'm passing out the collection plate right now. But
And guess what? The lady was coming around in Georgia. They don't do that no more. I ain't seen that, and that bothers me a lot. This lady used to walk. She like Mahalia Jackson, and said she be singing a song like Mahalia Jackson. And she would, and when she get almost to your house, you can see her come way down the road. So that heavy deep, ooh, Lord, tell her that, Lord. Then she gets you, though, she come knock on the porch. You know what she say? She said, I was passing through. Said, God sent me. And he told me to give you this ballot. And he told you to go around 40 days, 40 nights without stopping. And just passing the word from God. You know him for real? It when the white people treat you so bad with the farms, a lot of farms, and the entrepreneur take all your money, everything, all these children, he'll wash the whole crop away. He gets nothing out of them. Man, something inside me. I know God lives inside me. I can feel tears. Muhammad Ali came by. I was standing at the bus station in Georgia, that road, waiting for the bus. And he said, young lady, he's on one of them old town Volkswagen. He said, where you headed? I said, Albany. He said, would you like a ride? I said, no, I don't know you. He said, Muhammad Ali. He said, I'll take you in. He said, listen, I want to leave a message with you. And he gave me a piece of paper. He said, when you go to these places, don't buy no food from the white people restaurant. He said, what you do, fix your lunch, pack your lunch, and carry it everywhere you go. That's what he said, I'm coming through telling everybody this. Because we're trying to get, when interrogated, and then on one, he said, we can't use their restroom. He said, color, he said, white, don't it? I said, yes. He said, that's what I'm getting at. He told me that. And I told my mom what he said. Another guy told me I left from Rochester. He said, listen here. Do not ride on the back of the bus anymore. Don't care where you travel. Sit right behind the bus driver or opposite on the side from the bus driver. I did it. The bus driver told me he would move the bus till I go to the bank. He said, cause niggas go sit at the bank. They don't sit to the front. Only white people say. He said, we gotta go past halfway. I say, I went to Rochester, New York, and they told me I don't have to sit back. So I'm not sitting back there. You know when I got to Albany? That's what they say. I don't want to sit inside of me. When I got to Albany, he let everybody off, but he locked me in so I couldn't get out. And he called the police.
Oh, really?
He said,
Again, how they see us. You are supposed to be in the back.
he say, all the rest of the colored people sit at the bank. But this one here, she sit there, she not supposed to. He said it's for white people only. I said, if man in Rochester told me it's for anybody. I do not sit at the back of the bus anymore. So they called the police. So my uncle, my mama's cousin, know the police. He said, what's going on? He said, my first cousin daughter. What's the problem? What she done? He said she got out of place. She sent the back at the front of the bus and supposed to be at the bank. He said, did she pay her fare too? He said, I said, LD, what's wrong with you? He said, you know, he said, no, sir. We're going to be integrated. We're going to get segregated. We're going to fight. That's why she said that front of the bus.
Right.
But
one last thing. Tell them about when you went to Rochester and a white man was talking to you and you kept looking down.
He was
because she's used
Italian.
Yeah.
Marina mama, she took me out of town, her, and we went out of town. We took her up bed. We went out of town. That's what she said. Come on, I go her everywhere she go, you know. And so we went in the restaurant, and I saw all these white folks in there, you know. And so I said, where you going? You can't go in there. She said, who said that? I said, you can't. I said, I ain't going, you can't go in there. She said, you can. I said, you can't go in there, Rena. Rena said, it ain't like back in your country where you come from. We can go in anywhere. So the man, I said, you go, I'll wait on you outside. So the man saw her tell me that I wouldn't come in. He come out there where I was. So young lady, you come in. I said, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. He said, no, I was just come on in. I would come. So Rena come. So he said, come on. He had to pull me in. He said, come sit. I said, I can't sit there to the counter. Everybody was sitting. They said, why? I said, go back where I'm from, the king. He said, listen, everybody. This young lady is from Georgia. I know Alabama, Mississippi. Because you know what? She's scared to sit. Come in the restaurant. He said, I'm going to feed her anything she wants to, and I'm paying for it. I feed her every day because she from Georgia, and it say, colored here, white there. He says, not right.
But tell him how you was talking to him with your head down.
Yeah, I know. He said, why you don't look up? I never look up. And this white man said, let me tell you something. He said, I'm from Italy, I'm Italian. He said, let me tell you something. Anytime, I don't care what color person is, talking to you, look them dead in the eye, because they're going to look there. He said, because if they figure if you don't look them dead in the eye, they tell a lie. They don't believe nothing you say. He said, because this is what been happening to you for years. I said, today is changed. Man, I ain't go out to the restaurant no more. I was so embarrassed, too.
You know, when he said I would give her free food, I would have been there every day.
I know, right?
He would, yeah, true. And Rena used to bring food. So he said, take this to my little friend and tell her I sent her food.
Right. But then let me say this right here too, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because as I said what I've said while we were talking, God made people His people,
right.
And all white people are not that way. I mean, I don't want to come across
that's
that way.
True. That's true. They are not.
For every struggle that we have, white people have died for our cause. And there are a lot of good people in every nationality, every color.
That's true.
That don't have those issues in which we have been discussing.
That's true.
Through slavery and all the things and the steps that we've taken, we couldn't have done a lot of things without white people, because they helped us.
That's true.
And my point that I've been trying to make in talking is that I'm talking about whatever spirit that is for those who have that spirit of Lucifer kicked out.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I'm talking about that spirit.
Right.
So as I know for a fact, man, I have seen it. I have seen people, I've seen white people, all different nationalities, help us.
True.
It helps so many.
That's true.
And you just love that spirit.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so let me clear that up, you know. So
Yeah.
God places his people to shine the light in dark places.
That's true.
And you
That's
can't
true.
really go by what you see in a sense, because you know, sometimes you may think this person, that, and they're not. And they're very loving, very caring, and probably could love you and treat you better than your own.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
You know, so you have to be very careful about who and on both sides.
That's true.
You know, on both sides where you think they are, but they're not, and when you think they're not, but they are.
They are.
You just have to use your mind.
That's true. Cause my mom, Miss Annie, my mom, and Mr. Bond was gonna make me leave from by Miss Annie, cause she's a white lady, and her daughter by my mom, cause my mom was a black lady. My mom was red skinned like you. And then she said, but Bond, Georgia is sick and it's that time of the month, and she's standing in the water and shit will make her sick. He said, I don't care. She said, well, I want her, she can still hear the Annie. He said, you Annie, get back over where you. That's your daughter. You get back over by your mom. So mom said, well, if she can't, she got to stay in the water, we'll leave. She gonna leave. So he run to the truck and get his gun. They come back and make me and my mom stay. And Mr. Charlie, the boss man, was coming. He come. So Miss Annie, she's white, you know, her and her daughter. She say, Willie Mae, Bond is going to the truck to get the gun. Mom's by the truck. Mama ran and got the gun. And Miss Annie stood up for my mom. She was white.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you on. I got your book up now. Tell us again where we can find your book.
It's on Amazon. You can order it through on Amazon, or you can call me. My number is 407-694-3367, and I'll have a copy, a signed copy by me and my mom. And also in the next 2 weeks, the new version of the book will come out.
Okay, and I want to thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having us.
I
so
admire
much.
your mom, her courage, her spirit, much respect from me. Such a blessing. I love to hear your stories. You know, you remind me so much of my grandmother. In her stories, and my grandfather in his stories about that whole bus thing, because he did the same thing. No, seriously, he did it.
I believe
and
you.
he did it before Rosa Parks.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You know, right. So yeah, because and they used to be worried about him. You know, because he was in the South, but what helped him was he had the collar. He was a pastor. So he used to walk around and he had the collar in the, so
So it gave him a little bit of respect.
So they think that's what really helped him, because he didn't back down, and they used to worry about, oh Lord.
God was always on his side.
Yeah, right.
He was a believer.
Right. And so he did the Rosa Parks thing long before Rosa Parks, and and it's funny because I've had more than one person in my family tell me the story, and each person didn't know the other person told me the story.
True. That's true.
That he refused to ride in the back of the bus, and he told the bus driver the same thing. No, actually what happened was the bus driver told him to go to the back of the bus, and he didn't. He sat down, and then later on a white lady came on the bus and wanted him to move, and he didn't. And then she said, well, you got to move. He said, why? Because she said, I'm tired. He said, well, that's not my problem.
I like that one.
And so when he got off the bus, he went and wrote a letter to the bus owner.
There you go.
And from that time on, he never had no problems.
See?
Really?
Yeah.
If you stand up to them, they'll give you the respect.
Yeah.
You know?
But I want to thank you both for coming on.
Okay.
And you got to come on when your other book come out.
Thank you.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you got to tell us, you got to bring Mom back as well. And then you tell me, because I got issues.
I like
I got miss you.
You ain't the only one, trust me.
This is a hard read because my heart bleeds so much for us as people, and you know that little girl, man, the other girls, actually.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like the guy said, it still hurts him to this day that you look over.
He did.
And you can't do anything.
He said that I couldn't do nothing. We said none of us. We just sat there and just stared. We couldn't do anything but just watch him.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Hope that you were as intrigued as I was, and the book is called White Man's Woman. If you get a chance to pick it up and read it, you will understand my passion and what I'm talking about in here. And it's nothing new under the sun. You've heard it before, but you can kind of connect, and you actually know somebody who knows someone who actually went through it. Normally when we hear about these stories, it's just somebody that's telling a story, but you know somebody who was actually affected by this. And so it just takes you to a place, and you just stop for a moment, and you understand our history and all the madness and the craziness, and it still continues. So with that, I just want to thank all of you. You've been watching The Journey 2020, and enjoy the rest of your